You know what's crazy? During the last major blackout, more people ended up in the ER because of carbon monoxide poisoning than actual cold. And guess what caused it? Generators running inside garages, grills inside kitchens, heaters with zero ventilation. It wasn't the darkness that got them, it was their own preparation gone wrong. Because here's the ugly truth. In a blackout, it's not what you remembered to pack that gets you, it's what you forgot. Picture this. You're 3 days into a power outage. The fridge is silent. Your phone's dead. The nights are cold, and your flashlight batteries are nearly gone. You think you've got it handled. You've got food, water, even a crank radio. But suddenly, you realize the canned chili you've been counting on, you can't even open it. Or worse, you're warming your hands by a propane heater inside the living room. The windows are shut, the air is still, and something invisible is creeping into your lungs. This is what no one talks about. Everyone stocks up on the basics. But when the power stays out and day 1 turns into day 4, it's the forgotten essentials that make or break survival. These aren't luxury items. These are the 10 blackout tools that 99% of people overlook and 100% of people regret not having. Let's start with number 10s because it might be the cheapest lifesaver in your entire stash. Spoiler alert, you might want to stick till the end for a little bonus treat. Number 10, battery-powered carbon monoxide detector. Imagine this. It's cold. The power's been out for 48 hours. Your kids are wrapped in blankets. You finally break out the emergency propane heater, or maybe you've hooked up a generator out in the garage. It's humming, pumping power back into your life. For a moment, everything feels under control, but carbon monoxide has no smell, no taste, no warning. You close the garage halfway, thinking it'll vent. It doesn't. You turn the heater up in your living room, thinking warmth equals safety. It doesn't. One by one, your family starts feeling drowsy, confused, then unresponsive. By the time you realize what's happening, it's too late. Now ask yourself, would you even know? Most people don't stock a battery-powered CO detector. They have one hardwired into their home, which, of course, doesn't work in a blackout. And the sad part is, this isn't some pricey prepper gadget. It's a $20 device that runs on AA batteries and could literally save your life. During blackouts, carbon monoxide deaths spike, not because people are reckless, but because they're unprepared. They do what they think is smart. Use backup heat, cook with their grills, run gas stoves longer than normal. But without this one tool, they're flying blind into a silent killer. A battery-powered CO detector is one of those items you'll hopefully never need. But if you do, it becomes the most important item in your entire emergency kit. Don't skip it. Don't assume you're safe just because your windows are cracked. When the grid goes down, safety isn't automatic. You have to build it. And this is step 1. Number 9, manual can opener. Let's talk about the dumbest reason to starve during a blackout. Forgetting a manual can opener. You'd be shocked how many people stockpile canned goods like they're preparing for the apocalypse, only to realize they've got no way to open them. You can almost hear the sound of someone slamming a can of beans against the counter, muttering, "It's fine, I'll figure it out." Now imagine doing that hungry, in the dark, while everyone's already on edge. Electric can openers? Useless, fancy modern kitchen gadgets? Dead weight. Your survival pantry means nothing if it's locked behind metal lids and poor planning. That's why a manual can opener, yes, the cheap, old-school crank kind, is a non-negotiable. It's not just about food access. It's about reducing stress and saving energy when things are already stretched thin. Every little frustration adds up in a blackout. You don't want to be jamming knives into steel lids or busting cans open with screwdrivers. That's how accidents happen. And trust me, you don't want to deal with a hand injury when the hospitals are overwhelmed or unreachable. And here's the kicker. This thing costs less than your morning coffee. It's the least glamorous item in your prep kit, but the first one you'll miss if it's not there. Want a bonus tip? Keep a backup. One in the kitchen, one in your go bag. Because if there's one item that tends to vanish when you need it most, it's this little lifesaver. You can have all the Spam, chili, peaches, and soup in the world, but without a $3 hunk of metal, it's all just shiny paperweights. When people say you can't eat money, they forget you also can't eat cans. Unless, of course, you've got the right tool. If you've stuck around for this long, I'll let you in on a little secret. You might want to see what item number 6 is. It's the main deal, after all. Number 8, solar-powered motion lights. When the power grid dies, so does your perimeter. No porch lights, no street lamps, no glowing windows, just darkness, thick and silent. And in that darkness, you're not alone. Most people don't realize how fast the world changes without artificial light. Your street? It's now an unmarked path. Your yard? One giant blind spot. Your front door? Just another opportunity. Because when the blackout hits day 2 or 3, it's not just the cold and the hunger you'll be fending off, it's curiosity, desperation, and in rare cases, bad intentions. Now imagine this instead, a faint crunch on your gravel path and click, your solar-powered motion light kicks on. Bright, immediate. No wires, no grid, just stored sun. That sudden light, it does more than illuminate, it intimidates. It says, someone lives here, someone's watching, someone's prepared. Solar motion lights are a blackout essential not for the light itself, but for the message it sends. Whether it's wildlife, an unfamiliar visitor, or a neighbor on edge, it instantly reclaims control of your environment. And they're plug-free, grid-free, totally independent. Stick them on your porch, fence posts, or along walkways. Charge them during the day. Let them guard you at night. Bonus? They help you too. You won't trip down the porch stairs. You'll see that box of emergency supplies tucked in the shed. You'll actually use the space around your home after sunset instead of locking everything down out of fear. Because here's the truth. Light is psychological. When it's gone, we shrink, we hide. But one simple beam can restore a sense of order, and when you're living through chaos, that order is gold. So forget the flickering flashlight in your junk drawer. Think bigger, think brighter. When the grid's down, your home is your castle, and solar motion lights are your torches. Number 7, battery-operated white noise machine or earplugs. Sleep is survival, and silence isn't always golden. Blackouts aren't silent. That's the myth. In movies, they're all candles and stillness. In real life, they hum, they creak, they breathe. You hear the constant drone of generators from houses nearby. You hear pipes clicking, dogs barking, wind through broken window seals. But the worst sound of all is your own mind. It gets louder in the dark. Louder when you're cold, louder when you're scared. And that's why sleep becomes one of the hardest parts of a blackout. You're in unfamiliar conditions. No HVAC hum, no street noise, no background clutter to soften the edges of your thoughts. Every bump feels like a threat. Every sound is a mystery. That's where a battery-operated white noise machine earns its keep. It's small. It's simple. But it's sanity in a box. It masks the anxiety, the noises, the insomnia. It lets your body switch gears from fight or flight to recharge and survive. Because without sleep, everything breaks down. You make worse decisions. You forget steps. You snap at people. You spiral. And in an extended blackout, that spiral can become dangerous fast. Don't have a white noise machine? Fine. Pack high-quality earplugs instead. Not the dollar store foam lumps. The good ones. The ones that mute everything so you can reset your nervous system even for a few hours. Here's the big lesson. Survival isn't just about staying awake. It's about sleeping well enough to stay sharp when it counts. You can be stocked, prepped, armed, and ready, but if you're running on 90 minutes of broken sleep for the 3rd night in a row, you're a liability to yourself and others. So don't wait until night 3 when the adrenaline fades and the panic sets in. Get ahead of the silence. Pack the noise. Sleep like your life depends on it, because it kinda does. Number 6, glow-in-the-dark tape. Now this is what nobody prepared you for. When the grid goes down, your home doesn't just go dark, it turns into a minefield. That cozy hallway you could walk through blindfolded, it's now a blindfolded obstacle course for real. Stubbed toes, tripped over pets, mystery bruises, welcome to life without light. Now sure, you've probably got a flashlight or two lying around, maybe even a headlamp if you're extra prepared, but let's be honest, when was the last time you actually checked if they had working batteries? And if you've got kids, there's a 60% chance your emergency light is now part of a homemade Batmobile or hidden inside a blanket fort. This is why glow-in-the-dark tape isn't just helpful, it's a blackout game changer. Apply it to your stairs, door frames, hallways, and bathroom entryways. Wrap some around your breaker box, your generator handle, your emergency water stash, and the drawer where you keep your medicine. You can even mark the floor leading to exits so you don't wander like a zombie every time you need the toilet at 3 a.m. Most people don't realize, in an extended blackout, injuries happen in the dumbest ways. Falling down stairs, bumping into sharp corners, even slicing your foot open on broken glass you can't see. All avoidable. but only if you're prepared in advance. Glow tape takes 5 minutes to apply and turns your home into a functional, walkable space even when everything else is offline. So when your flashlight's buried, your hallway feels like a horror movie set, and your partner yells, "Was that the cat or the coffee table I just kicked?" Glow-in-the-dark tape becomes the silent hero. It's not fancy, it's not high-tech, but it might just be the thing that saves your shin bones and your sanity when the world goes dark. Number 5, emergency toilet setup. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about one of the most uncomfortable and yet absolutely essential topics in any prolonged blackout. Where does all the water go after you hydrate? Everyone stocks up on bottled water. Some even hoard cases like they're liquid gold, but hardly anyone thinks about the natural consequence of all that drinking. Because when the taps stop flowing and the toilets stop flushing, your nice little bathroom becomes a ceramic time bomb. And here's the cold, soggy truth. If the blackout disrupts the water supply, whether due to frozen pipes, pump station failure, or sewage backup, your home toilet is suddenly out of commission. It won't flush. It won't drain. It might even start gurgling like something out of a horror film. And that turns a small problem into a massive, messy crisis. That's why you need a dedicated emergency toilet system. At the bare minimum, a 5-gallon bucket lined with industrial-strength bags topped with a snap-on toilet seat. For just a few extra dollars, you can add gel powder that absorbs liquid, neutralizes odor, and makes cleanup shockingly bearable. Want to elevate your throne game? Go for full-blown portable toilet kits complete with pop-up privacy tents, deodorizing chemicals, and hand sanitizer dispensers. It's a little survival luxury that you'll thank yourself for again and again when the bathroom line doesn't involve a shovel and a tree. This isn't just about comfort, it's about health, hygiene, and morale. In a real emergency, you could be sheltering in place for days, possibly longer. Hospitals will be packed, plumbing professionals unreachable, and public restrooms either locked tight or crawling with bacteria. And let's be honest, nobody wants to be that household dumping a bucket of human waste into the bushes like it's the 1300s. The emotional toll is also real. Bad sanitation leads to bad moods, short tempers, and unnecessary conflict in already high-stress situations. An emergency toilet setup brings control back into the chaos, keeping your space clean, your dignity intact, and your family protected. Because when the grid goes down and you're sitting in the dark, sweating over how to cook rice with the tea candle, the last thing you want is to realize you've got nowhere to go, literally. Number 4, USB fan and cooling towels. When people prep for blackouts, they usually picture a winter storm. Fireplaces, soup, blankets. But what if the grid fails during a summer heat wave? With no air conditioning, no ceiling fans, and no breeze, your home becomes an oven. Especially for the elderly, babies, or pets, heat stroke can become a real threat in just hours. That's where a USB-powered fan and cooling towels become literal lifesavers. Let's start with the fan. A small rechargeable fan plugged into your solar generator or power bank can make a massive difference. It won't cool an entire room, but aimed directly at your body, it helps regulate temperature, prevent overheating, and make sleep possible. Get one with multiple speed settings and a battery life that lasts at least 8 hours. Now pair that with cooling towels, those miracle cloths that activate with just water. Drape one over your neck, wrists, or forehead, and it cools you down by several degrees. They're lightweight, reusable, and need no electricity. Just soak, wring, and feel instant relief. Here's a tip. Store a few cooling towels in your fridge or freezer during brownouts. If the power cuts, you'll have a short window to use that cold to your advantage. Too many people overlook heat in their emergency plans, but every summer, power grids get overwhelmed. ACs blow, fires rage, and the sun doesn't care if you're already exhausted and dehydrated. Sweating in the dark isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly. This combo won't turn your home into a spa, but it'll keep your core temperature down, your mood up, and your body out of danger. Number 3, emergency cash stash. Here's a blackout truth nobody wants to think about. Your debit card becomes just a shiny rectangle of plastic the second the grid goes down. Imagine this. You make it to a corner store that still has supplies left, but their card reader? Fried. And the ATM? That thing's been dead since hour 1. You've got $20,000 in your bank account, but not a single usable cent in your hand. That's when people get desperate. And desperate people make dangerous decisions. You don't need stacks of hundreds. You need small bills like ones, fives, and tens. Something you can trade, bribe with, or use to pay someone for a vital favor. Because trust me, no one's giving you change for a $100 bill when they're handing you their last box of batteries. This isn't just about buying things. In a grid-down emergency, cash becomes barter. Maybe your neighbor has antibiotics. Maybe someone's got an inverter or a generator or fuel. Are you going to offer them a bottle of ketchup and a good vibes promise? Didn't think so. Keep your stash somewhere safe but accessible and weatherproof. You don't want to be fumbling through soggy drawers or muddy backpacks when the moment hits. Tuck some cash in your car, some in your bug-out bag, and a little near the front door. You never know which one you'll reach first. And let's talk scenarios for a second. You need to evacuate. The gas station has backup power, but no card readers. The toll booth is down. You need a ride. You need to buy a map. You need to pay someone to let you charge your phone. That 47 ounces of small bills you almost spent on sushi last Friday, that could now be the difference between staying stranded or getting to safety. People prep food, water, flashlights, even tools, but they forget the one thing civilization still runs on, even in the dark. Number 2, emergency radio with crank and solar. Picture this. You're 3 days into a blackout. No power, no cell service, no internet. Your phone is a cold brick in your hand. And suddenly you realize something terrifying. You don't know anything. You don't know if the power's coming back tomorrow or in 2 weeks. You don't know if that loud boom last night was a transformer blowing or something far worse. You don't know if the evacuation order has been issued or if you've already missed it. This is when the silence gets loud, when the darkness becomes more than just physical, when ignorance turns into danger. Now imagine reaching into your gear, cranking a handle, and suddenly static crackles to life. And then a voice, a real human voice, delivering emergency updates, storm patterns, shelter information, curfews, warnings. That's the power of an emergency radio. Not just any radio, though. You want one that's no AA enabled, meaning it gets official weather alerts from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Bonus, if it can charge your phone, has a flashlight built in and runs off solar, crank, or both. Because batteries, not reliable in a long-term crisis. Don't underestimate the psychological power of information in a blackout. Knowing what's happening and what's not is the difference between panic and planning, between chaos and calm. There are radios out there that can fit in your palm, run on air, and literally charge your phone while you crank them. That's not just useful. That's survival gold. And if you think a blackout won't last that long, tell that to Texas in 2021, or Puerto Rico, or Northern California. These weren't 2-hour inconveniences. These were multi-day disasters where people had no idea what was coming next. Don't wait until the world goes quiet to realize how loud that silence really is. No Wi-Fi, no signal, no problem if you've got the one thing that still talks back. Number 1, portable power station. When everything else fails, this one thing keeps everything else alive. Imagine this. The power's been out for 2 days. Your phone's dead. The flashlights are dying. The food in the fridge, warm. Your backup batteries, used up. And then you remember you bought a portable power station. You dig it out, plug it in, and suddenly your world isn't completely dark anymore. A portable power station isn't some futuristic luxury. It's become the new definition of preparedness. And no, we're not talking about those tiny USB bricks that give you 12% battery before dying. We're talking about a real powerhouse, the kind that can charge your phone multiple times, keep LED lights running through the night, or even power a CPAP machine, a small fridge, or a laptop. And the real kicker? Look for one that includes a solar panel input. That's the difference between 24 hours of survival and indefinite resilience. While others are panicking at gas stations and fighting over batteries, you'll be sitting under the sun, topping up your survival gear. When the grid fails, your last line of defense isn't firewood. It's watts, stored and recharged. You don't need a $2,000 setup either. There are solid entry-level options that give you enough juice to stay connected and clear-headed for days. Bonus, the one item you'll invent. 12 hours too late. No matter how thorough your checklist, no matter how neatly your emergency bins are labeled, and no matter how many hours you've spent watching prepper YouTube channels, you will forget something. That's the inconvenient truth no prepper wants to admit, but every experienced one knows. There's always going to be one item. One seemingly insignificant thing you didn't think to pack. One tiny, obvious in hindsight object that becomes massive once the power's been out for half a day. And when it hits you, it's like a punch in the gut. Maybe it's that cheap $5 pack of coffee filters now desperately needed to strain water, or just to feel human again with one decent cup of caffeine on day 3. Maybe it's an extra pair of thick wool socks when your only dry pair is hanging near the fireplace like it's Christmas in the apocalypse. Maybe it's a backup pair of glasses because yours just snapped mid-emergency and suddenly everything's blurry, including your sense of control. Maybe it's a bottle of baby wipes that could have saved you from using your precious drinking water for hygiene. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a simple deck of cards or a board game to keep your kids from asking for the 400th time, "Is the internet back yet?" It's never the big-ticket stuff that breaks you. It's the overlooked everyday things, the ones you use without thinking, the items so ingrained in your routine that you assume they'll just be there, until they're not. And once they're gone, you don't just miss them. You feel their absence in your bones. You start improvising, tearing up paper towels, fashioning a headlamp with duct tape and a flashlight, regretting deeply that you didn't stash a single tube of lip balm or a bottle of Advil. This is why seasoned survivalists always say, you don't know what your essentials are until you can't have them. So here's your real prepper assignment. Don't just plan for the apocalypse. Mentally walk through an entire 72 hours, in your home, in the dark, in silence. From waking up to brushing your teeth, feeding your family, staying warm, staying entertained, going to bed. What's missing? Because it's not the generator that breaks you, it's forgetting the extension cord. It's not the candles, it's the lighter you didn't pack. It's not the canned soup, it's the can opener. It's not the gas stove, it's the pot you lent your neighbor last year and never got back. So yes, be proud of your freeze-dried food, your bug-out bag, your layered water strategy, but also pack the random, the weird, the easy to forget, the stuff you'll swear you don't need until you really, really do. Because in every blackout, there's always one item you'll invent 12 hours too late and remember forever. So now we turn it over to you. What's your forgotten item? Was it something silly or something serious? What's the thing nobody talks about but everyone ends up needing? Drop your answer in the comments and let's build the most brutally honest blackout checklist the internet's ever seen. We'll pin the smartest, weirdest, and most "why didn't I think of that" answers to the top, so we all get a little smarter before the lights go out again. Blackouts don't give warnings, and they don't care how many flashlights you bought. But if you plan for the real stuff and the things no one thinks about, you won't just survive. You'll stay one step ahead. So hit that like if you learned something new, and save this video for when things go dark.